Aaron Spelling, without a shadow of a doubt, used to be the king of American television. From Dynasty to The Love Boat and even Seventh Heaven, his fingerprints are all over modern American culture. In the 1990s, Spelling's newest project would premiere on the Fox network, Beverly Hills 90210. This series was a teenage soap opera, following the overly dramatic coming-of-age tale of a group of friends in their formative years. Some notable characters included Brandon the Playboy, played by Jason Priestley, the zany Steve, played by Ian Zuri, and the loner Dylan, played by Luke Perry. Perry would go on to have a very notable acting career after this breakout performance.
You wouldn't know it from the start, but this having sex one time would change the entirety of the modern wrestling landscape as we know it.
Jungle Boys to men.
Rising up through the independent scene in California, Jack Perry rose to prominence off of his skill and merit. Jack Perry would make his pro wrestling debut in 2015 for Underground Empire Wrestling under the name Nat Coy.
Funny enough, Jungle Boy would not be the ring name of his choosing, but instead it was sourced from crowd chants from local shows. This would be due to the fact that within his younger years, Perry actually got lost in the Amazon, surviving 40 days off just eating fruit, and it's because he looks like one of the characters from that movie that has the awesome Phil Collins soundtrack, Two Worlds, One Family looking ass. Jack would go on to win the All-Pro Junior Heavyweight title and form his tag team with Luchasaurus. Now, normally the big and little guy pairing in pro wrestling is a bit played out, but it's a bit different when the big guy is 6'5", can move just as fast as his smaller partner, and is 65 million years old.
With the start of AEW, a boy and his dinosaur would be some of the first signings to the new company, and would become fan favorites fairly quickly. Jack, for his part, had collected a lot of buzz, and hopes were high for the young upstart.
To be labeled a pillar of a company shows a great bit of confidence by your employer and your peers, but that comes with a lot of pressure to be the future of the company. While a great vote of confidence, it places a lot of unsolicited criticism onto you and your work, making anything you do have such a more insane amount of pressure.
One wrestler can never be 100% control of their own creative. People of Jack Perry's age need time to develop. But whenever you're seeing your peers that are the same age as you getting a lot of success that's eluding you, this pressure can build to the point of popping.
Jurassic jumps.
As time marched on, Jungle Boy was getting on TV more and more every week. But this started to expose some of Jack Perry's shortcomings as a performer. Cough, mic work, cough, cough. But then again, I get nervous with ordering a month's worth of diabetes from Crumble Cookies, so I couldn't imagine talking to thousands of people every week.
Things began to pick up for the team as Christian Cage became the mentor to the Dino Boy pairing, even aiding the two in their quest for AEW Tag Gold. While the pairing with Cage was great for all involved, are you aware, and this might be a bit of unknown knowledge to drop here, so I'm just warning you now for this ultra truth bomb, that Jack Perry's father...
But your father's dead. That's probably a good thing, Jungle Boy, because he would be embarrassed and ashamed to see how you turned out. You raised a piece of shit. For the insensitive remarks I made last week about Jungle Boy's family, more specifically, when I singled out his father. Jungle Boy, I'm sorry, your entire family isn't dead.
The breakup of this team and the subsequent feuds with Luchasaurus and Christian Cage would see the two villains out of the situation have a banner year in 2023 and bring a once forgotten title in the TNT title back to relevance. Perry was left to figure it out on his own, and a enjoyable yet brief teaming up with Hook didn't really result in much. So, it's time to hit the biggest panic button in wrestling and turn heel.
Oh, wait a second, what? Jack's hurt. I think he's hurt from that moonsault caught him.
Oh my God, what the hell? Holy shit, what are you doing, Jack?
To give you the state of Perry's career at this point, he was challenging Sonata at Forbidden Door, the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, a massive match to be able to have on such a grand scale, and Sonata basically replied, "Who the f*** is this guy?" Looking back at the four pillars, by 2023, we could see where their careers were headed, at least in the short term.
MJF at this point had become the crown jewel of the promotion. Darby Allin was a fan favorite in helping one of the greatest wrestlers of all time retire on his own terms, and Sammy Guevara was Sammy Guevara, if you know, you know. Outside of a brief run with the FTW title and his prior tag title run with Luchasaurus, Perry was not really seen in the same regard as his peers.
Something big would have to happen in order for Jack Perry to get over this career slump, and it didn't come from a promo or a match, but a chain of events that were truly stranger than fiction.
Someday I'm gonna kick your ass.
Through the real glass.
So, here we are. I'll skip the dramatic setup, you know what happens here. Jack Perry and CM Punk have an argument on one episode of Collision. Info gets leaked to the dirt sheets about Jack wanting to use real glass and CM Punk telling him no. Jack Perry makes a reference to it during his match with Hook at AEW All In. They get into a fight backstage, Punk is fired, and Jack Perry is sent to New Japan.
Now, literally and figuratively labeled the scapegoat of wrestling, what would come next for Perry? Does Tony Khan hold a grudge over him losing his golden goose to his biggest competitor? Does he fire Perry and rid himself of the entire situation? Or does he turn chicken shit into a Montanza for the ages? The Young Bucks, Perry, and AEW had become public enemy number one for some die-hard CM Punk fans.
The shoe world has affected the world of wrestling more than you would think. The Montreal Screwjob, the WCW Finger Poke of Doom, hell, even last year's WrestleMania. When you have a vocal minority that finds the owner of your company to be incompetent, EVPs that are egotistical and bullying their way around the locker room, and young superstars that aren't being put into check, I mean, you might as well just roll with it.
Now, Tony, it's no secret we've had our ups and downs. We haven't always seen eye to eye, but the only thing that I have ever wanted is what's best for AEW.
Absolutely, Tony smiled.
The only thing that I have ever wanted is what's best for AEW.
In the future, I have high hopes for the Scapegoat. I mean, TV rights negotiations are coming up, and I'm sure Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, your EVPs, want to ensure that they get the best TV product possible. And when you have a title that's currently vacant, you need the right face of that channel. And maybe it's Jack Perry. Thank you guys so much for watching Extreme League Wrestling. Go ahead and suplex that subscribe button so you don't miss our next video. What's your favorite Jack Perry moment or match? Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. This has been Extreme League Wrestling. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.